haven't done this in a while. I guess I have to start what I've been thinking lately, which is I feel like there's these uncomfortable places, and instead of being afraid of that, I feel like you need to push towards that. You need to see why it's making you uncomfortable and what would have to change for it not to be. And in some situations you can't change that, so then you have to change your mindset, get out of the point of this is uncomfortable. And yeah, I feel like there is just so much in life you miss out on if you chicken out on stuff because you feel uncomfortable. Because of a lot of the unknown feels uncomfortable. Something makes you uncomfortable, you have to push past that and do it anyway. And I think all of this kind of started, well, if we're really honest, it started many years ago. I wouldn't have done most of the things in my life if I didn't push past the uncomfortable. It was this morning, some time ago now, I can't remember when. I was lying in bed in the morning, I woke up and I was thinking, what am I gonna do today? I had no plans for that day. And I was kind of like, what do I want to do? And what is really stopping me? Like, what are the things that I really want to put my time into? I have this whole day to do something. What is it that I want to put my time into? And that made me think about all the changes and the changes I want to make, the changes that have happened. And why do I feel uncomfortable? And what is stopping me from being my authentic self? Who I was at that moment, I felt uncomfortable in my body. That was the first thing, my physical self. I don't feel the best me right now. We've gone through a pandemic, we're still in a pandemic, and through that time, what I've been doing physically has changed. Right before the pandemic, I moved and changed jobs. In my previous job, I was on my feet all day, carrying different things, building different things, whatever. And it was kind of really physical. And on my free time, I would go for long walks, hikes, whatever, and do yoga as well. And all of that had kind of been left behind when COVID hit. I was in like I said, I had moved, I had a different job. So I was in a shared house and I was working from home. So I wasn't physical at my job anymore. I was in a shared house where I didn't feel like I had a space to do yoga anymore, and there wasn't really anywhere I could go and do yoga. So I did still go for walks every now and then. But even that, as I started feeling more kind of down and not so great, I didn't do it as much. And then eventually got to the point when I realized I feel like I'm not really using my time well where I was. And I did feel like there wasn't just enough space. I had a tiny little room. It just felt like I needed more space to be able to work from home, to have separate areas for where I worked from home. And also to have space to do my yoga and have kind of certain calmness in my brain. I think with being autistic, you sometimes do struggle with distractions. So when there is other people around, even if they're like the best people, it's still hard for me to focus and to be my truest authentic self. So then I moved on my own, and having my own space has helped with a lot of that. But I did have someone in my space for a while as well, and as amazing as that was, I don't know if you can hear my neighbours right now. There is obviously still like distractions. Even when you live on your own, you have neighbours, but there is noise there in the garden right now. If you can hear them, oh well. But yeah, I was sharing with someone, and as lovely as that was, still I was in a small space, but I wasn't alone. I couldn't do those things that I really wanted because I was constantly kind of struggling with the balance, with the kind of, because it's so lengthy to explain, but when you're autistic and there's someone around you, it is really hard to have energy for everything. A lot of energy goes into that socializing part when there's someone around. And also because I'm the kind of person that gets quite obsessed. Obsessed is maybe the wrong word, but I get really excited about that person when I'm with them. I want to spend a lot of time with them. And that takes away from the time with myself. And I'm not doing as much of those things that I like to do on my own. So making changes is important. And you don't get to the point of making changes if something isn't uncomfortable. So you find yourself in an uncomfortable place, so the conflict has already happened, or is happening, and you have to make that change to make it better. And it isn't, most of the time it isn't easy. It is always kind of trying to figure out something, failing, making mistakes, until you reach the point where you are feeling better. Like, I think there's never like a point when you're like, oh, everything's perfect. Life is always changing. There's always different things that you can improve. But you can, always try to get towards a better place where you can be happier. And sometimes you have to make, difficult choices, and difficult changes. But they are very necessary to make. So let's go back to that morning when I was laying in bed asking these big questions about myself. What do I want to do? And I tried to kind of get to the bottom of it, and kind of have a feel of like, how was I feeling? What did I want to do? And I wasn't comfortable in my body. I didn't feel good about being who I was. And I realized to change that, there's two things I have to do. I didn't feel comfortable with how I had changed from being quite active person to not being so active anymore. So I used to do that job and go for walks, and I didn't anymore. I didn't like that, so I wanted to change that. I wanted to become more active again. And the second part was I didn't like how negatively I saw myself. I didn't like the negative words I would use to describe myself. And I think it's really hard to, like, there's all these things where people are like, oh, you should love yourself and you can't love others if you don't love yourself. Loving yourself is really hard. It is so hard. There is so much about ourselves that we feel bad about, or we wish was different, or that we would do better, or and there's like outside influences that tell us that we should be this or that or whatever. And it is so difficult to get ourselves to a place where we love ourselves. And I think we don't necessarily have to get there. Like, it's okay just to be okay with yourself. Like, I think that's such an obvious thing, but people don't think about that. So that morning I was thinking, oh, I hate how heavy I feel and how my body isn't capable of doing all these things. I'm not strong enough to do all these things that I used to. And there's fat on my body that I was hating. I was using hateful words about that. And I didn't like that. I had become someone who was saying those things to myself. I don't like that. And I had to think of things that I do appreciate. I do appreciate that my body has gotten me through this time. I've managed to get through this whole pandemic and I'm still here. My body gets me up and I go walking, I go swimming, I cook food that I like. My body is doing all these things and I should appreciate that it does. Also, side note, I don't think that you have to be able-bodied to be able to love your body or like your body or be okay with your body. Like, as long as you exist, you're enough, you're important, and you have worth. It's just as long as you exist. It doesn't, like, all these things that the society or your friends or family or whatever puts like these pressures on yourself, it's background noise. Just like, it doesn't matter. You should just kind of, it's really hard. This is what I mean. It's really hard to love yourself because it's really hard to drown those things out. But as long as you know that just being you has worth, that just being you is enough, that's where we start from. The second point was the physical. I wanted to be able to do more. So to actually make that change, I actually have to make those changes. And it's really hard when you have a habit of doing things a certain way to change that habit. Habits take 30 days to form. And it's really hard to keep something going for 30 days. Things happen in life that it breaks it down, that you're not able to keep it going. And it takes so much effort to keep going. So sometimes you need help to keep it going. And for different people, it means different things. But this is, again, a thing where we shouldn't be afraid of making mistakes. It should be more acceptable to make mistakes, to fail, to try and look like an idiot. And it is difficult when you feel embarrassed. I've definitely felt embarrassed many times in my life. But what that embarrassment actually is growth. If you feel embarrassed looking something in the past, that means you've changed, that you're not that person anymore. You wouldn't make those things anymore. So that means you've changed as a person, you've grown as a person, which is great that you've done that. You should be proud of yourself for doing that. But also, life shouldn't be too serious. There's like icy roads and you just fall on your ass all the time. And you just laugh. You feel embarrassed, but you laugh. Like, it's not that serious. It's fine. But if you really think about it, anything we ever do, and we try it for the first time, we're not going to be good at it. We're going to fail at it. It could be something we realize, oh, this isn't for me. It could be something really embarrassing. You do it in front of everyone and everyone's kind of like, oh, laughing at you, like, what are you trying to do? But if you didn't try, you would have not known that. And if you stay still, you're never going to grow, and there's never going to be a better tomorrow if you don't try something new. So you can't just stay still where you are and expect different results. There's something that someone once said was, to have something you've never had before, you have to do something you've never done before. And that's, if you've never done something before, you're not going to be good at it. You've never done it before. How could you? You can be kind of okay at something that is similar to something you've done before, but you're not going to be perfect. You have to keep trying. But what then stops us from doing these things? That's Stu. What stops us is usually the feeling of embarrassment, like I said. That is, we feel embarrassed if we're not going to be good at something. The first go that we're going to feel embarrassed. Oh, we weren't good at it, so I feel embarrassed. Why are you feeling embarrassed? Of course, you're not going to be good at it. Is it embarrassed because other people are watching you? I found this quote from Milan Kundera from Unbearable Lightness of Being. Living in truth, lying neither to ourselves nor to others, was possible only away from the public. The moment someone keeps an eye on what we do, we involuntarily make allowances for that eye, and nothing we do is truthful. And I find that quite interesting, that we do feel like we have to perform a little bit sometimes around people, that we can't be as raw around each other. And that is obviously self-preservation. I've been hurt many times before, and it's made me trust people less. It's made me wanting to appear strong all the time, even when I'm not. And I think that's quite toxic. It should be more talked how we are in like vulnerable people and how it's okay. There are people in your life that are going to be supportive of you, who love you unconditionally, and whatever you do, they're going to be supportive. They're not going to laugh at you and think you're an embarrassment. But sometimes we do struggle to see that ourselves. So to really truly be our authentic selves, we have to kind of just be who we are. And every time we feel uncomfortable, or every time we feel like we are doubting ourselves, I think there is a moment there to stop and think, why am I feeling like this? What is making me feel like this? And why? And if it's some bullshit from outside, maybe it's something we shouldn't listen to. But going back to that morning again, let's try to loop back into the morning. When I woke up, I was questioning things. I needed to make change to actually start feeling good about myself as well. So I started to walk and I started to do yoga. I've been using apps to kind of keep a track, to keep a goal in mind. For myself, I find it harder to make a change if I don't have smaller steps, like smaller kind of goals and towards that bigger goal. And having an app kind of that does step-by-step kind of exercises or yoga lessons helps me personally to get there. And with the walking, and I literally just like a week ago started keeping track with Google Fit of my steps, because I just needed some kind of goal to walk towards to work towards, because just the walking every now and then wasn't doing it for me. I felt like I was still in that same slump. It wasn't like kind of getting me out and going for those walks more. So I needed a goal, and that has helped me. Not everything works for everyone. We're all different with different experiences. Not everyone does the same things. So another thing about my body wasn't just the movement and being strong, was also that as I had more time in my hands, I was also eating more. I would keep eating the same amount even though I wasn't active, or even actually more than when I was active. So that was something also I wanted to change. And I really struggled with that, because I feel like I already ate quite good. I'm vegan. I don't eat that much kind of sugary things. I don't eat sweets. Only downfall is like that I had was crisps or takeout. And with that, I kind of stopped eating crisps. I stopped having takeout as much. I cut it down, but I couldn't see much change. And it was only through these TikToks that I saw of, there's this TikToker called Rose Colored Girl. At least her Instagram is Rose Colored Girl 13, I think. But she has a TikTok, and she was talking about intuitive eating, which was where you eat when you're hungry and you eat when you feel like you need it. So I've been kind of slowly starting to practice that, or try it out. And another thing I wanted to do, but something was stopping me, was creating more. I kept telling myself before, oh, I didn't have space to do it, I didn't have time to do it. And now that I kind of have the space, I have the time, I had a whole day to myself, what was stopping me? What was it that I wanted to do but I wasn't doing? And I like doing different creative things. I like trying this and that, but I've never felt like I was really good at one thing. I'm not really good at drawing because I haven't spent hours and hours drawing. I'm not really good at creating music because I've never really created music. But I have picked up the ukulele and played a song. I do draw sometimes. I haven't put the time in to become really, really good at those things. But something that I do quite a lot is the journals. And I wanted to kind of make something new, kind of version of that. And it wasn't really new in the end, what I came up with. I have been writing things online before. I've had different social platforms before, that I would share pictures, I would share music, I would share different things at. And I even kind of started this many times before, and I didn't keep up with it. I feel like I kept losing the point of why I was making it. And now I've started again. So now I'm gonna gather things into this online thing again, where I can share things that I want to share with others, or just kind of collect things somewhere, even if no one looks at it or reads it. I don't really care. It's just nice to create things. And yeah, what I really realized through thinking about how I don't feel like I'm good enough at anything really. I just kind of dabble in different things. I don't have to be. I'm really good at doing my journals. I'm really good at trying. And I think journals are that. They are a thing where you get to always have a fresh new page and try something or just express yourself in some way. And that's what I want to do. I want to have an empty page to fill in. And that's what I can do with the blog and kind of what I'm doing. Yeah, and I was kind of thinking that why is stopping me from doing that? And I think what was stopping me was, what if it isn't good? What if it's embarrassing? Or like, I think the embarrassing part comes from me looking at the previous things I've made and I feel embarrassed. But again, that's growth. I'm not that person necessarily anymore. I wouldn't do the same things anymore. Or say the same things or whatever. I might say it differently. But again, that's because I've grown as a person. I'm not the same person as I was then, which I'm kind of proud that I have changed then a little bit. I'm sure I'm pretty much the same person at my core, but there's something that makes me feel embarrassed, so there has been some kind of growth. I'd rather try something and keep trying and grow and try to kind of work towards a better tomorrow and be happier, and do things that make me happy, than not. Because if I don't, I kind of stay still in that same place where I've been and not do anything to make it better. Doesn't make sense to stay there. So why not try something and just, I don't know, see where it leads. And it's fun to make things, so I want to keep trying to make things. I guess also what is kind of daunting is if you create something or say something, you wonder if there's meaning to it, if it matters, if there is a point of creating it or saying it or whatever. And I guess for me is like, do I have anything original to say? Or do I have anything original to create? Or would this matter if I make it or not? But I think, and part of that is, again, the eyes of others. That does it matter in the eyes of others? Because it does matter to me. I like doing things. I like writing things. I like thinking about things. I like learning and sharing. And so it matters to me. Why isn't that enough? And I think my issue has been that I haven't felt enough. And that's my thing I want to change. I don't care if I'm enough for others. I want to be enough for me. And I am enough by just existing. So, yeah, I'm going to make things. But it is I think another part of it for me is also, I've really struggled with, that part of, does my voice have value? Does this have value? Something I create, does it have value? Is because of, there is so many people out there whose voice are not being heard, who are saying incredible things or doing incredible things that should have that space. Those voices should be more amplified. Like, let's say, people of color, Black Lives Matter movement, things like that, they should have much more space in the world right now to make that change. Disabled people should have more space to talk about the things that they struggle with. Because there is so much stuff that people don't really realize that we're not doing enough. We're excluding people from so many things. There's just so many things that I feel like, do we really need another white person talking about this or that? I don't know, it just, sometimes I really struggle with that, if my voice matters. But at this point, it matters to me. I want to put more focus on things that are good or that need changing or make me happy, or I think it's important to me and I need to do it. So I'm gonna do it. I think that's that for now. Rambled on enough. I hope you have the strength to make the changes that you need to make. Be kind to yourself and others.